Welcome back everyone, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Shadowrun Hong Kong. Where we left off last time, we were in the Whampoan area trying to figure out who is murdering people. So let's go look around. Let's talk to Zippy first of all. This orc is busily snacking on a steam bun. As you approach, he wipes off one of his hands and sticks it out towards you. Hey stranger, nice to see you. Zippy Toe Tag at your service. How are you looking Whampoa Garden? I'm Eltimar, nice to meet you, Zippy. Nice to meet you too. Listen, I know it's a little forward of me just to say hello and whatnot, but I'm interested in giving you a hand if I can. Zippy gestures extensively at the squalid, neon-lit streets of Whampoa Garden. This is my home, at least for the time being, and I'd like to stop these killings. We've never met before, but I know exactly who you are. You're my replacement. The elders had me autopsy what was left of Elder Gan and Elder Nakamura after they got ripped apart, but I didn't want to dig any deeper. So since I don't know you, I can smell a Shadowrunner a mile away. You gotta be the outsider that has to stop the killings, right? Zippy tilts his head back, obviously pleased at his amateur deduction. Very astute, that's right. See, I have good eyes. A lot of good eyes, actually. If you're in the market for replacements, only slightly used, and they come from certified donors. I swear. A hearty laugh erupts from the orc, and he slaps one of his thighs in elation. Man, I kill myself. That's pretty funny. You a stand-up comedian? With jokes like that, are you kidding me? I'm one of the only trained surgeons around here. I keep the other Whampoans healthy. I gotta practice down the road. Blind Chen's a pretty good cyberdoc, but he's basically an implant specialist, and that's it. How'd you end up here? I did my residency back in UCAS. Could have become a real MD too if things hadn't gone south for unrelated reasons. Zippy opens his coat, revealing a cyberdeck. He pats it proudly. I also deck a little, but I'm better at slicing skin than IC. Whampoa Garden seemed like a good fit for me. So is it fairly peaceful around here? For the most part. Other than these killings, we don't have much by the way of problems. We do information security for the Triads, and that makes us fairly impervious to anyone who wants to start trouble. Anyone starts something, we hit them in the Matrix while our Triad friends hit them in meat space. Some small-time gangs tried pushing in here before, but they backed off when they figured out they weren't just picking a fight with Sang and his guys, but with the Red Dragon and the Yellow Lotus. They got the message really quick. What was left of them anyways. You must have a lot of customers. That's the chip truth. I have to charge to cover my costs and eat, but it's damn near free service. There's always a waiting list, but it's good, honest work. I like helping my neighbors and the community. We all look out for each other. Someone messes with one of us, they mess with all of us. That kind of community is rare as gold these days. How many places have an ethos like us? Not the damn corpse, that's for sure. I've lived a lot of places, done my fair share of shadowrunning, but this place is special. It's been a long time since I really felt like anywhere was a real home. Zippy looks off past you towards the Whampoa Gardens trees. His expression grows wistful, like he's remembering something from a long time ago. I'm sure I'll move again, but not for a while. I'm not done with this city or these people. Let me ask you about Whampoa Garden. Sure thing, what do you want to know? It looks like Tong was killed by a blade, not a broken neck or a bite. Zippy recoils, shuddering against the rain. What kind of blade? Like a knife, a sword, maybe an axe? I don't know, but he was attacked at the back of the neck. I don't like that at all. Zippy shivers, looking warily around. This whole affair's got me on edge. People dying is nothing new but flayed skin. Ugh. After a moment, Zippy composes himself and looks back at you. It sounds possible that whoever's been killing the elders is trying to muddy the waters with all the blood and gore business. This is the crime of an intelligent, careful killer. Be careful. This investigation might take you somewhere very unpleasant. Tell me about the murders. There's a sharp intake of breath as Zippy shakes his head. Pretty gruesome business. Gan died from a broken neck. Looks like someone had wrenched it around, and his arms and legs were cut off. Some skin flayed away too. Nakamura had his throat ripped out by somebody with sharp teeth. At first I thought it was a devil rat, but the teeth marks were all from something with a humanoid jaw. I didn't look at Yatunda, but from what I saw at distance, it was the same story. Didn't seem like much of a point since I've seen it twice already. As for Tong, from what Porter told me, it was Gan and Nakamura all over again. You take a look at him yet? Yeah, it's the same as you described the others. Zippy shakes his head sadly. Damn, I like Tong. The BTL business was unsavory, but the man had to eat and his regular sims were great. Generally all around nice guy, friendly with everyone, never had anyone mad at him. There ain't no justice, let me tell ya. Tell me about the elders. Zippy laughs, shrugging. Well, they're an eclectic bunch, that's for sure. Where to start? Ying's the spiritual leader here. She's the voice of the Whampoans, I guess. A lot of her close friends are really more followers, since she's something of a priest for the machine spirits. Maybe it's a cultural thing, but people who grew up here. But it's never called me. Still, she makes a damn fine pot of tea. Hip's the muscle. He has an encyclopedic knowledge of cyber and BioWare. Definitely a good guy to have watching your back. Not too friendly, but you know how it is. You get a lot of cyber, people start wondering if you'll tear their arms off. Sippy makes a chopping gesture with one hand. He's got moves straight out of Blood Carnival 3, The Reckoning. Terrible movie, but great fight choreography. And Tang? I don't know much about him, but I think he's got some kind of fetish for automation. Found him cooing over some trids of automated delivery drones in a warehouse once. He works with drones. He has a shop called the Blessed Autofab. He was raving about the efficiency of the movement, patterns or something. You already know about Tong, Ran Sims, BTL's skill chips. Gan used to be a city planner before he had a nervous breakdown and got involved with statistical analysis. Zippy pauses to collect his thoughts. Nakamura came from Fukuoka and was interested in entertainment, trid mostly. Spent a lot of time analyzing subliminal in ads. Then there was Magpie. She was the chief decker, hot as hell against IC, built her own hardware, salty old woman though. Never met anyone who was quite as shrill or nasty when she was mad. She was mad most of the time. Wait, nobody mentioned Magpie to me. When did she die? She didn't. Maybe a month ago she just up and disappeared. I went to her shop one day and she just wasn't open. Nobody's seen her since. Kind of a pain in the ass too. She owed me some new analyze software she picked up. Never heard of Magpie either. She was one of the newer Whampoans. If she was the Decker, she would have replaced Elder Gao. No surprise there. Gao was older than Quinn Shihangdi's Terracotta Warriors. I don't know how to say that word. When I was learning decking from him, he could barely get out of bed. Still fast as hell in the Matrix, though. How can you be new and an elder? Isabel rolls her eyes. It's a stupid name. It doesn't have much to do with time spent in the community. That has something to do with it though, but it's mostly about how skilled you are, how good your connections are, and how much you can help everyone else. Should have called them experts or something. Bingo, that's exactly it. She was only here for about 3 years, but she knew a lot of people all over the Matrix, in Shanghai and Beijing, all kinds of places. That plus her skill meant she was a shoo-in when Gao died. Why would she disappear? No idea. One day she was here, the next poof. At first I thought she was just on vacation, since she had mentioned wanting to see the Kingdom of Hawaii someday, but it didn't feel right. She would have at least told me she was leaving. It seems mighty suspicious to me. Nobody seems to care what happened to her, probably because she pissed them off so badly. Any place you think I should start looking? You might want to check out her shop. It's all locked up, but the other elders have a spare key. Couldn't hurt to look around, and even though Magpie was always butting heads with the elders, they wouldn't have a reason not to let you in. What do you mean they were butting heads? Magpie and the others never saw eye to eye. She was contrary for the sake of it. Most of the rest had a grand vision for what they wanted this neighborhood to become. Magpie just wanted to deck. She was only an elder because they needed someone with her Matrix chops. The last big argument was between her, Ying, Ip, and Nakamura. It was over something relatively trivial. I think Nakamura wanted to expand the pirate trade business into the Matrix, and she absolutely refused. Why? She said something about not taking up valuable bandwidth for trivial entertainment bullshit. Anyway, it went from there into this rant about how she wasn't going to let Tang expand his drone business any further because it would get too much megacorp attention. They accused her of blocking them just because she could, which is probably true. Lots of screaming. What do you mean blocking them? Everyone needs her Matrix skills for their businesses to run properly. There are other deckers, me, say, or Moj, Nebi, but she had the infrastructure. If their project didn't interest her, she wouldn't give them the time of day. She's a real hardhead about having her time wasted, but she figures if she's not interested in something, it has no value objectively. Kind of a major blind spot if you ask me. Sounds like she was critical. Yes and no, she was, but since she disappeared, Elder Ip's taken over running the Matrix infrastructure. He's not as good as she was, but his experience with drones makes him the best candidate. They wouldn't trust something like that to anyone who wasn't an elder, so there you go. Why wouldn't you just... whatever, it doesn't matter. See you later, Zippy. Alright, now we can go into Magpie's shop. Maybe. And take a look around. Let's go see what's up here, though. There's 2 more people. Mojnebi and Breaker Hoy. The man in front of the stall is rooting through a box of music chips with the swift fingers of someone who knows what they're looking for. Behind him, a music player pumps out a constant stream of distorted, atonal music. The stall's proprietor is nowhere to be seen. Can you believe this? They got 4 bootlegs of Echelon 60. The unreleased Enoch Ian Keys, double chip from Brazzaville, but absolutely 0 chips from Shotgun Bloom. This stall stuff is purely second rate. Hey man, don't get too down on Echelon 60. I saw them when they played an unlicensed show at the old Choco Tart factory out in Swanwen. The show was amazing, even if the police had to break it up midway through the second set. The music aficionado waves his hand dismissively. The show might have been great, but come on, Echelon 60's old news. They're already being mainstreamed. I saw a trade ad for the new Mitsubishi Ostro scooter, and they were using Main Volt Under Bust as the backing music. Made me sad, I tell you. The Decker inclines his head politely towards you. Mo Jnebi at your service, Decker. Technologist, music fan. You're not from around here, are you? You don't hold yourself like a native. No, I'm from the UCAS. Mo runs a hand through his hair, shaking the collected rain out of it. I thought so. What brings you here? Trying to find out who's been killing the elders. Decker pauses a moment, face falling. Oh, that's a nasty business. Her tongue died off tonight. I don't know who or what they pissed off, but it seems like a really bad scene. I'm trying to keep my nose out of it. Still, I like this place. Anything I can do to help? Can you tell me about the Whampoans? We're a collection of freaks, geeks, nerds, and tech junkies. This place may look like a third world bazaar, but believe me, we have stuff here that's cutting edge in almost every field. Mo swells with pride and plants both hands firmly on his hips. Maybe it's not as advanced as the stuff the Megas have in their development labs, but it's as advanced as anything you can find in a store. People come from all over the world to buy and sell here and work out deals for big shipments. We got contacts with every pirate and smuggling group in the South China Sea, and every major syndicate and gang in the free enterprise zone knows not to mess with us. Not only are there a lot of us, nobody wants to lose what we're selling. The Red Dragon made a play 4 years ago, but we chased him out. Scooted off back to Whampoan, and they've never been back. That sounds dangerous. He wants to piss them off. It's all about playing the angles. Yeah, it pissed him off, but then we sold goods to the Yellow Lotus at a discount. In exchange, the Yellow Lotus kept them off our back. You don't have to beat up the big guy to win. You just have to make him step back so the other big guys see he's off balance. Stand-up fights are for the Megas. We're about survival. We're just like everyone else in the shadows. Know anything about the murders? I'm trying to stay as far away from it as possible. I'm not connected enough to hear anything important, and all the talk about monsters is just plain dark. I'm not afraid of monsters, but I don't want to get in their attention. All I know is a couple of months ago we had Elders Nakamura, Yatunda, Gan, and Magpie, and now we don't. I've heard about Magpie. Sounds like she was kind of vicious. To be blunt, she's a hateful, shrewish old badger of a person. It was always her way or the highway. She'd butt heads with the other elders over damn near anything. The last fight she had was with Tang over something or another. I guess she ended up throwing some of his micro-drones in a deep fryer and threatening to kick his ass around the block. What's her line of business? Matrix gear. Her shop's called the Jackpoint. Not very imaginative, I know. She always had the hottest programs, best chips, and made killer decks for anyone willing to pay her rates. Cost plenty of Nguyen, but she was one of the best in the business, at least in Hong Kong. If you want to know more about her, you should talk to Zippy. He's one of the only people around here who got along with Magpie. You can probably find him in the MTR or by the MTR station. He loves the steam bun cart over there. See you later, Mo. Who are you, Breaker? An imposing troll stands in front of a stall, overflowing with weapons of all sorts. Pistols, rifles, even brass knuckles overflowing onto the rug around him. Ho there! You look like a man who understands the value of self-defense. Breaker Hoy at your service, and I can promise you, I can help you defend yourself. What do you say? I want to take a look? I want more information. Yeah? Tell me what you want. Maybe I can help you. Know anything about the murders? Just that the elders are being hacked apart. I try to stay away from it. No sense painting crosshairs on my own forehead, right? The troll shrugs indifferently. I'm nobody important. I aim to keep it that way. What are your impressions of the elders? Can't say I associate much with them. They organize big trade deals with the Jawa pirates, the triads, and legitimate businesses. They tell us if someone's been blacklisted, dispense justice when someone breaks the rules. Beyond that, they leave us alone. And I leave them alone. I'm just not important enough to register on their radar. What about Elder Magpie? Never met her, thank God. She ran with the Deckers mostly, since she dealt in chips and software. I heard she was hard to work with. I think the phrase I heard was that she shrieked like a harpy with a fresh corpse. I don't know, you should ask Zippy, though. He's sharp. He's a sharp one with the deck, so he'd know her better than most. Who slings BTLs around here aside from Tong? The Red Spear gang. They run up here sometimes, but they don't cause any trouble. Check out the parking garage south of here, though. They usually hole up there. Step light, though. If they don't know you and cop an attitude, they'll put you in the ground. Funny thing, though, I heard there's a shootout with some Hong Kong police in the garage a month ago. I was away in Beijing at the time, so I didn't see it directly, but everyone was talking about it when I got back. Must have funny. Because we don't let the HKPF in here, most times. We shoot at them if they try. Every time they come in here, it's bad for us, because they're always looking for a scapegoat. Why would the elders let them in? Nobody knows. The story thickens. The plot thickens. Kita. This dumpy-looking man is busily hawking a variety of grilled spherical treats of various sizes. Some are sold individually, some are skewered on sticks, and some are packaged up in sets of 4 or 6. A sign on the front of the cart reads, Kita's 1 yen yetai. A cacophony of small trid screens are attached to the cart, each playing a different trid show. Interest you in some dango? Takoyaki? Maybe some nice nikumin? That's a pork bun with a Japanese twist. Any kind of tasty Japanese treat you can imagine, I've got it. Maybe some curry fish balls are your speed? Kita will give you your heart's desire, providing what you desire is on my menu. Here's some dango. Your wish is my command, good sir. Kita deftly pulls one of the dango sticks out of the cart and drops it onto the grill. A small robotic arm slides out of the cart and begins turning the stick until the balls of rice flour are a toasted brown color. Lifting them from the grill, Kita dips the entire stick in a tub of sticky brown sauce before handing it back to you. The snack has both a sweet and salty flavor reminiscent of sesame seeds and soy. The balls inside are pleasantly warm and surprisingly chewy. A bit like eating raw dough, but without the attendant chalky taste. Kita leans back, studying you intently. The Pherrid projections from his cart cause his face to be lit in a constantly shifting array of rainbow hues. So what brings you to the Whampoan garden, my friend? Somehow I doubt it's just the street food. I'm looking into the killing of the Whampoan elders. Kita shivers, wrapping his arms around his body. Been hearing a lot about that. Haven't looked too closely though. It's just none of my business, you know? So with all the Pherrid screens, Kita beams and gestures excitedly towards them. You like them? I love Pherrid operas. Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Indonesian, it doesn't matter. This way I can watch all my favorite shows without missing a beat and I can work at the same time. Pirated Pherrid is my other business. I rip the streams in the Matrix, tap right into the corporate feeds and resell them on a chip here. Kita's face falls a bit, and his enthusiasm wanes. I wish I could pay the bills, but my food cart's a lot better than that. Or better at that. I don't know why, but most of the other Whampoans seem to like sim over Pherrid. They don't know what they're missing though. One episode of 1,000 Cranes of Autumn and they'd be hooked for life. I'm just at the part where Orin has confessed her love to Takayama, but he's got to take his mech suit on the front lines to Mars, so he can't be with her. Downright heartbreaking, I tell ya. Sounds like an interesting show, alright. Eyes twinkling, Kita leans forward in a breathless excitement. Oh, you have no idea. 312 episodes, chronicling a noble mech pilot and the tumultuous love affair he has with the space station governor's daughter. The pathos, the majesty, the Battle of Langrage 1 spans 5 episodes just by itself. For some reason, I guess it just didn't resonate with the wider public. I don't see why. Who doesn't want to see a Pherrid show about giant flowing robots, love, betrayal, and spies? Gotta stop myself before getting carried away. Was there something else you needed? Thoughts on the murders? Yeah, ignore them. Kita shrugs indifferently. I saw the crowd down at Tong's Sensory Carnival earlier tonight, but I didn't know the guy very well. I'm a Pherrid fan. He liked The Sims. Not a lot of crossover between us. Tell me about the people here. We're tech heads, deckers, riggers, Pherrid pirates, and everything in between. If I had to define this place, I'd say it's Asia's mecca for people like us. As for the elders, I can give you the basics. I'm a small fry, so we're not exactly on social terms. Being some kind of crazy tech witch, she summons spirits and casts spells, and works as the spiritual center of the tribe. She's a lot craftier than she seems, too. She has this mother-to-everyone act going on, but I've watched her manipulate people into doing all kinds of things they wouldn't normally do, and they thought it was their idea the whole time. Magically, you mean? No, I don't think so. She's just really good with people. Ip's a killer, addicted to cybernetic implants. He always has to have the newest and freshest gear. Funny thing is, I've never seen him fight. Kinda get the impression he's a coward. Or he'd rather let one of his buddies handle the problem than do it himself. All I know about Tang is that he loves drones and does a little decking. Frankly, I find him kind of boring. All he does is talk about neural networks, dark knowledge, and evolution of machine learning. That's it. Alright, well, we are not going to go in there yet. There's Demergo back here. Okay, one more person, then we're probably going to have to call it a video because I have to go do some things. This man has a tired, world-weary demeanor about him. His eyes track your movements with a penetrating, critical precision. Something about him, the lines about his face perhaps, make you suspect he's seen a lot of terrible things happen. He ships his cup of cheap soy calf as you approach. Let me guess, you're the freelancers the elders are paying to look into the murders around here. How'd you know? You got the right kind of eyes, like you're looking for something, and don't seem to trust anyone. Outsiders don't usually wander around Whampoa Garden without an escort. Locals don't make them feel too welcome unless they've been invited, and there's only one reason to be inviting Shadowrunners out here. Call me Demergo. I'm not one of the Whampoans, but I've been living here long enough that they don't think twice about me being here. Demergo drains the last of his soy calf in a large gulp. What have you found so far? What's it to you? Professional curiosity. I used to be with the New York Police Department as part of their thaumaturgical research division, part of the CSI branch, except I did some magical investigation while the other guys pulled prints and checked blood samples. Demergo tosses the soy cup towards the nearby garbage can. It bounces around the rib and rolls inside. Want to hear about shit like this happening? I keep my ear to the ground. Old habits, you know. Why aren't you investigating it? Elder Ying told me to look into the killings after the first murder. She couldn't afford my fee, though, so I took a pass. It's not just the money, either. Demergo shudders, folding his arms across his chest. You see that stuff day after day, you pay a price. It eats away at you. You know what it's like to feel all that sickness and anger every day? To be asked to pick up a murder weapon and relive someone else's death? Feel it going through your neck, pleading in the voice of the dead woman for her killer to spare you? These days, I'd rather interrogate the living. Thanks. What are you talking about? I can read objects. It's called psychometry. A little trick I managed to pick up. Don't really know how. I hold something and I can tell you what happened to it, who owned it, how it killed someone, if someone loved it or was afraid of it. Useful, but it'll tax your heart. And before you ask, no, I'm not going to read anything you find. I already told I don't want any part of this. You want advice, I'll give you that, but I'm not getting drawn in further than that. So aside from that, anything I can help you with? Tell me about the Whampoans. I don't know much. Even though I've been here almost 2 years, I'm an outsider. They don't really accept anyone who's not as much of a tech nut as they are. I'm just the crazy mage that lives down the road. Demergo pauses and looks off to the distance as he collects his thoughts. Ip's got some heavy-duty cyberware, basically an enforcer for the rest of the council, but he doesn't seem to set much policy. Ing's a shaman that works machine spirits. It's all a bunch of hokum if you ask me. Magic is magic. Whatever you want to call the source of magic is fine by me, but don't ask me to believe in the great spirit of electronics. As for everyone else, they tend to be an okay bunch. Bit strange, but that's fringe culture for you. They scrounge tech, rebuild it, sell it off. Some of them even have their own auto-fab shops. This stuff's pretty high quality too. People come from all over Asia to shop here. If they need something rare or unusual. Tight-knit little community, all things considered. Tong wasn't afraid when he died. He was caught by surprise. Demergo arched an eyebrow. That's not what I would have expected. With the amount of mess at the scene, the victim should have left behind a hell of a lot of fear and pain. Are you sure? Very sure. Tong died tonight, and so the astral signature hadn't had time to fade. There was only a sense of perfunctory accomplishment. Then it sounds like this wasn't a crime of passion. A planned attack would have that kind of resonance. In my experience, it's possible that the gore show is to throw off anyone looking for the actual reason. Demergo closes his eyes and starts to nod. Yeah, if I wanted to kill someone and get away with it, I'd try to point the finger at some kind of monster. Demergo opens his eyes and smiles a thin, humorless grin. Basic Investigation 101. It's usually the simplest explanation, but don't discount other possibilities. You think the mess wasn't incidental? It's a possibility. Ask yourself this. If the mutilation happened after Tong's death, why would the killer perform that kind of ritual? Serial killers who engage in that kind of ritual don't feel perfunctory about it. In my experience, it tends to feel more like they're taking communion. It's religious or a sexual feeling most of the time. If this didn't feel that way, I don't think the killer is actually pathological. Tong was killed by a bladed weapon, a single strike to the base of the neck. That's a precision attack. Most knife fights end up with a lot of shallow cuts and blood over the victim and attacker alike. If Tong was killed by a single strike, he definitely wouldn't have seen it coming, and you can bet your last Nuyen whoever killed him is highly skilled with the blade. That says to me that the attack is either a professional hitman or a practiced serial killer. It could be both too. Assassins don't tend to be the most empathetic people. Demergo considers this information for a moment before speaking again. Was the attack a thrust or a cut? Why? If the wound was a thrust, your attacker was using a knife of some sort. Anything over about 10 inches would be pretty hard to thrust at that kind of angle. The neck's too high for a longer blade. If it's a slash, you're looking at a sword or a cleaver attack. Both of those are popular with the triads. They make an awful mess and send a message that they're not to be trifled with. Anything else about the murders? They started a couple weeks ago. Elder Gan was the first to go. That's when Ing asked if I could look into them. He was ripped apart, arms wrenched out of their sockets, skin flayed with a razor-sharp knife. The rest would have been the same. Whatever did it, didn't care about it being a clean death. Demergo lowers his voice, leaning in towards you so that only you can hear. The funny thing is, the Hong Kong police force was out here a few weeks before that, maybe a month ago tops. I know it doesn't seem like much, but the Whampoans don't usually let the police in here. That by itself is odd enough, but it gets even stranger. The officers were loaded for bear too. Big guns, heavy armor with NBC seals, the works. They went into the parking garage near here, and there was some kind of gunfight. Never made it back out. When backup showed up, the Whampoans chased them away. Why would they let the cops in and chase them away? That's exactly the kind of question you should be asking, and that the elders refused to answer when I asked. Demergo shrugs. Go take a look for yourself if you want. Watch out though, a gang's taking up residence there, dealing drugs and BTLs. They call themselves the Red Sphere. Not too violent, but if you don't push them, but be careful what you say. See you later. Alright, we're gonna call the video here. We're gonna go into the warehouse later, but I'm gonna go back and see if I can get a key to that shop first. For now though, I'll leave you guys here. Like always, if there's any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. I'll see you next time.